Dark clouds loomed over Willow Ridge Cemetery. Mourners gathered around Margaret Hensley's grave. Thomas stood stoic, hands behind back. 60 years forging iron etched his face. His son, Daniel, fidgeted, checking his watch. Daniel's wife, Clara, wore vibrant blue. Minister's words faded. Thomas watched Daniel. Margaret favored Daniel, ignoring daughter Elise. Thomas's jaw tightened at Daniel's impatience. Elise, in scrubs, stood by silently. Daniel shook hands, feigning heartfelt grief. He spoke of managing Margaret's estate. Thomas's blood chilled at estate mention. Daniel assumed control, dismissing Thomas's legacy. Clara promised Thomas comfort, voice syrupy. Elise heard Daniel's greed, stayed quiet. Mourners left, family lingered by grave. Daniel loosened his tie, mask slipping. "Will reading tomorrow," he said smugly. Elise questioned mess. Daniel brushed off. He mocked Thomas's role, expecting compliance. Thomas turned, silent, knowing Margaret's plan. Daniel laughed. Clara giggled. Victory assumed. Tomorrow's truth would shatter their confidence. At Harper's law office, Thomas arrived early. Elise joined, exhausted from hospital shifts. Daniel and Clara entered, fashionably late. Attorney Sarah Brooks began reading will. Elise received a modest trust fund. Daniel inherited house, millions in assets. Thomas got Margaret's old watch collection. Daniel's cruel laughter echoed through room. "Watches." Daniel sneered, mocking Thomas's inheritance. He declared Thomas out by weekend. Elise stood furious. Thomas stayed calm. Sarah hinted at additional will provisions. Thomas left, Daniel's plans already forming. At Pineview Motel, Thomas settled in. Margaret's watches held a bitter note. Elise texted, offering her small apartment. Thomas declined, watching Daniel's lavish party. Cars lined the driveway, laughter spilled. Daniel's voice boasted of newfound wealth. At midnight, Sarah called Thomas urgently. "Meet me now, back in trance," she said. In her office, Sarah revealed truth. Margaret's will had a hidden clause. Daniel's inheritance depended on housing Thomas. Evicting Thomas voided Daniel's entire claim. Sarah grinned. Margaret planned his failure. "Let him spend," she advised coldly. Daniel bought cars, tore up gardens. Thomas watched, cataloging his son's excess. Sarah called again. Daniel overstepped bounds. He tried liquidating Margaret's investment portfolio. Thomas prepared to reclaim his legacy. At Hensley Mansion, Daniel's changes glared. New furniture, hot tub, ostentatious decor. Sarah and Thomas confronted Daniel inside. Sarah read the will's critical clause. Daniel's face paled. Clara shrieked unfairness. Eviction violated terms. Assets reverted immediately. Daniel accused manipulation. Thomas remained unmoved. "You failed Margaret's test," Thomas said. Daniel begged, offering Thomas a room. Sarah declared the transfer legally final. Daniel collapsed, dreams of wealth shattered. Thomas gave him 3 days to leave. Clara's loyalty wavered, eyeing an exit. Daniel's threats of lawsuits rang hollow. Margaret's foresight ensured no legal recourse. Thomas reclaimed his home. Justice served. Weeks later, Daniel tried sabotaging Thomas. He hired a thug, seeking incriminating records. Thomas's office held only honest files. Daniel's desperation led to reckless choices. He blackmailed Clara's lover for cash. Police caught him forging false reports. In court, Daniel's case crumbled quickly. Judge dismissed claims, citing Margaret's clarity. Sarah presented evidence of Daniel's crimes. False reports, burglary, extortion, all proven true. Daniel admitted guilt, voice breaking down. "Mother was right," he said defeatedly. Judge forwarded charges to district attorney. Thomas watched, feeling his son's loss. Elise cried, torn by family's fracture. Daniel left, a shadow of himself. Months later, Hensley Mansion stood restored. Thomas oversaw contractors, erasing Daniel's mark. Elise cooked Thursday dinners, a ritual. She mentioned seeing Daniel, now broken. He worked odd jobs, lived poorly. Thomas felt no pity, only resolve. Margaret's will hung, a victory framed. Daniel's locked room remained untouched forever. One evening, Daniel appeared at gate. Gaunt, desperate, he begged Thomas's mercy. "I'm sorry," he pleaded, voice cracking. Thomas's voice was steel. "You're nothing." Elise urged compassion. Thomas stood firm. "You chose cruelty," he told Daniel. Daniel wept, collapsing against iron bars. Thomas turned away, legacy fully reclaimed.